Hey, what's up? It's Status, and we're back again with more Songs of Syx. This is the same version 67. There's been a minor update. The update's mostly about polishing, so it's not too much to worry about. They balanced some faction trading stuff, like some of the economy. They rebalanced some of these numbers, like the fulfillment numbers are a little bit adjusted. Nothing too big. Most of the updates are that just polish and UI improvements. And so anyways, we're back to not starving. We're at 20 pops, and we're gonna try to keep going as best we can. And what I've noticed is we are in autumn, which is very important to not miss this first autumn. We're actually gonna suspend our little grain farm here so we can get everything on the map. So on the map, there are these little wild farms, and they're in season. They're ripe. But what I noticed off camera is that there's this error here. Do you see this? Job is unreachable from the throne and will not be performed. So if your pawns are ever cut off from the throne, they throw fit, they stop listening to you. And the reason why I'm getting that error message is there's actually a bug with this map. I actually reported it, and they are going to fix it. This bridge is not traversable. If you look at this bridge, you have to walk orthogonally across the water, and you can't go diagonally, so this is actually not passable. But we could build the bridge. I'm going to show you how that works. We could actually fix this. It's not catastrophic, but it is annoying in the early game because there's all this grain over here that we can't get. So what we're going to do first is just suspend all the jobs. So our dudes will go and harvest the grain. It'll probably just chill on the floor. But the point of getting that grain is so I can grow more farms, get my ball rolling. Otherwise, if I don't get enough grain, I just have to wait a year and get more grain from my own farm. So if I can get more grain to plant more farms, I can plant more grain so I can plant more farms and get my snowball going. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and unpause this and move forward. So these guys are gonna go get my wild grain, and while that happens, I'm actually gonna plan how to fix this bridge and kind of show you guys how this thing works. So if you right click and see that space percentage, 47's over here, 7's over here. If you right-click a square, and anytime the space is above 0%, you could walk on it. So here it says 0% space, you can't walk here. But you can walk here, 7% space. But you can't cross this bridge. So in order to fix this, you build a road on the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do planning mode. This will just make it so nothing will be built immediately. I'm going to click on roads and just do a dirt road. And in order to fix it, I just got to connect the, I'm going to do here, connect it here, here, and I think that should be good enough. Nope, I might need one more here, it looks like. So yeah, if I right click and see there's no space here, I gotta build where there's no space, and they will go here and build these tiles out so I can cross this river. And I gotta fix this one too. This one's also broken. Let's see here. Go to roads, dirt road, and I think I'll fix it here, and fix it there. So that should hopefully fix it. And these are suspended right now, which means I have to go and click activate right here. So when you're in planning mode, everything you do is grayed out, and then you can go manually turn it on later. All right, so what have I guys done? All right, we are pulling things off the floor. They're taking a nap here. Great, in the middle of the field. See, the blue lines mean work in progress. The gray means it's done for the year, and it'll come back next year. So that's all picked up. That's all picked up. Great. Or not picked up, but harvested. I'm just gonna move forward in time. Make sure they get all of them. All right, that looks like they're gonna get through that. So we're gonna try to fix the bridge and get across the goddamn lake or the river here, and see if we could actually get here and harvest this before it's too late. It may not happen though, because I believe the third day of autumn is when. So I got 20 hours left, right? Or 22, 40 minutes. These will be locked if I can't get to it in time. So let's see here. So we're building our bridge, and that's what the dirt bridge looks like. And I can cross all the way up to here. That's interesting. They actually like create the dirt floor and then I actually cancel these. Yeah, this isn't totally fleshed out yet, but it looks like the first step they do is create this like ground you could build on, and then they build the dirt road on top of it. See how these are not dirt roads and these are dirt roads. I don't really care about the dirt roads. I just care about trying to cross. Let's see here. All right, we'll cancel that. Cancel that. Yeah, shift click is how you, if you place a job and you shift click it, boop, 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 you can delete them one by one. Very handy. Control is always like copy whatever. So if I click on this, it's like copy the bridge, then I can build more of it. Very handy shortcuts. All right, cross the bridge. Let's see, what time is it? I'm probably not gonna make it. I'm probably not gonna make it. But that's okay. I think I got enough for at least 2 farms. There may be enough on the ground for a 3rd farm. Because the farms also take all year, like working all year. And right about now is like harvest time for the farms. So if I could finish the first farm and get it seeded, I'll be able to get like a full harvest for next year. All right, I'm just going to kind of let that go. Let's see. Day 2, it's the end of the year. Yeah. Yep, see, it just changed. It must be late summer. So I can't get these anymore. Oh well. I'll let these guys finish these 2 jobs. I'm going to turn on my farm again and try to get them to finish that. Alright, so I got a couple of balls I'm juggling here. I want to build as many farms as I can, but I also am now stockpiling livestock. Which means I want another pasture so I can fill the pasture. See, this pasture's got 14, and it gives me 0.38. So it's a snowball, right? I get more pastures, I get more meat, I get more livestock, then I can build more pastures. There's going to be a point where you have so much livestock that you're just going to sell it, and it's going to be pretty easy money. All right, let's accelerate time here. So we have 20 dudes, and they're doing all right. So you really want your loyalty to be 100%. If it's less than 100%, bad things can happen. But it's pretty early game, and they kind of behave early game. It's not going to be until maybe like 50, maybe 100 pops they start to misbehave. Because you could have criminals, you could have health issues, you could have insanity, which incapacitate your dudes. Because if you click on this workforce button and click on here, this is like the workforce count. It'll tell you to incapacitated. No one's incapacitated right now, and everyone's nice and healthy, 0 sick. All right, we are low on food. Let's queue up some more pigs to be killed. Hunt the pigs. Doot. Well, that's too many. So I'm shift clicking a box to cancel. I can easily select and unselect. Cool. No one got mauled to death. Excellent. So I'm building the farm. I want to finish that and not starve. Get the food. Hunt the map. Okie dokie. Let's speed up time here. All right. Farm is done, or first farm is done. That's going to dedicate a couple of workers to it. I'm going to go ahead and build or queue up the next farm. And I just want to build it along the river. I'm just going to copy and paste and the control click this. And I want to be able to build a road all around it without terraforming too much. This is probably going to be all right. Boop. And that's a copy and paste. Yeah, let's build a road right over wherever the water here. But I'm going to check, make sure it still has the good fertility. So when you click on this, it says you want to refurnish the room. That pretty much just means go back to the build menu. And 99 fertility, 0.39 workers, that's good. You kind of want to be under the whole numbers. That way I'll give this 4 workers and it'll be a satisfied field. Because if you put 3.5 workers, you pretty much need 4 workers. And then you kind of have like your workers have extra free time. Which it isn't the worst. Because your workers will do their job until they're done. And then when there's no more work, they will become an odd jobber and try to be productive. Yeah, so speaking of like productivity, let's just go over this real quick while this is being built. If you want to know how like the pawn's main goal is to be employed, get a job. And once they get a job, their name changes, right? Like instead of just being an odd jobber, like these guys are herders, a food vendor, a grain farmer. So if you click on the farms, there's like this number. It's like, what time does the work shift start? It's 3 o'clock. So if you click on them, and go to properties here, you can click on the work schedule. It'll tell you. They don't always start on their shift. They kind of, there's like an hour wiggle room. So he starts at 1 o'clock. It's between 1 and 13 o'clock. He should be working, which is at 8 o'clock. That's in the middle of that. And then after his work shift, his priorities will change. So they kind of all work once a day on a shift. And generally speaking, things that grow are early morning priority, like 3 and 3. These are going to be early on. Say I had like a bakery, that would probably be a little bit later. It usually starts later in the game or later in the day. And you'll have like pipelines and stuff to like, you'll grow cotton in a farm, and then you'll have like a weaver, and a weaver starts after the farm, and then you'll have a tailor, and the tailor starts after the weaver. So there's kind of like a logical, you grow the resources, refine the resources, craft the advanced resources. And so speaking of like resources here, so these are all the food items on the top right. These 10, these are 2 drinks, and then 8 food items. It's really 7, and then these rations. These rations could be any other food item. We will be making rations. Pigs are good at making rations. It's one of their strong points. Rations are very good for food days because they last a long time. So if you want to have more stored food, which makes them happy, having rations is good. It's also good in case any catastrophes happen and you just have food, so you just don't starve to death. Yeah, these are the basic resources. Basically anything you can grab out of the ground or grow out of the ground. Yeah, you can grow this, you can mine this, and, that's livestock. And then down here is like the advanced resources. These are like refined resources. And then everything below that, it's like crafted resources. Yeah, so you'll kind of move your way down here. But furniture is going to be the first thing that we build. Not yet, though. We're still going to be trying to get like our 2 or 3 farms going before we waste any time trying to do any furniture and stuff. Because they're not good at furniture. Once we get to that point, once we want some furniture, we're actually going to let in other races, and we'll lean into that. Because Cretonians are very good early game, but kind of bad mid to late game. They're not bad. They just need to rely on other races to do other tasks. But you can still work to your strengths and play more of an economic game, if you know what I mean. Like, you can just grow a bunch of food and sell your food and buy everything else. Sometimes it's a little inefficient. Yeah. But kind of in the beginning, you want to specialize as best as you can, which is why we're going to be focusing on grain farms and auroch pastures and a bakery for the grain farm once we get there. But probably we may not even make a bakery until we have it's kind of a sizable farm thing going here. Like our first year of farming may go towards more plots, just to kind of catapult ourselves into having a lot of food. Okay, so our dudes are pretty happy here, even though we have no civics, just because we have like some food in the bank. I'm just gonna let some more in. Let's accelerate time here. Let's speed this sucker up. Because what we want to do when they get less happy is to build civics that don't require labor. Like some of these require people to work. Like a speaker, you need someone to be the speaker, be the employee. But if you build a hearth or a well, they just exist, and no one's the employee there. So it's kind of like labor-free fulfillment in a sense. Lavatory. Yeah, that requires some employees. But first, actually, we should probably build a janitor station, because this is starting to degrade just a little bit. See that 8, that hammer with the number 8 next to the degrades at 0%? That's showing the maintenance. Let's go over maintenance real quick. So this main road that spawns on the map is a dirt road. You can build a dirt road, but the maintenance is disabled by default. So when you are building around it, you have to be conscious to like turn it on. And that's the enable maintenance thing down here. You just have to know that that's a thing. It's kind of annoying if you aren't even aware of this, because your janitors won't repair this and it looks like shit. Yeah, it looks like a worn out thing. So let's build a janitor station real quick. Where are the janitors? Where are the janitors? I'm not sure where the janitors is, but I could type it in here. Find it real quick. Janitor. So the janitor station, there's kind of like, you're going to make this janitor station all the time. It's like a one-size-fits-all little janitor station. I'm just going to build it right here. give a little bit of space. Yeah, 3 by 5. Because you can't build less than 5 workers at a time for a janitor station. So this is like the smallest janitor station you can kind of build. Yeah, you're going to build it just like that. I'm going to round out the edges so it's nice and round. I'll probably talk about that later, the roundness aspect. But if you check this shape thing, you can see what's round and what's not. So I'm going to round these corners. I guess I'll round these corners too while I'm here. Make them a little happier. I'll put that there too. Why not? Yeah, so roundness is something that they like. Like, it's free fulfillment too in this environment. Like, services are mostly things that you have to employ. There are some things that are, just well, which requires no labor. But the environment is stuff that's like free happiness in a sense. Like, are they walking on roads? Makes them happy. See, this is why pigs are easy. Pigs love to be outside. That's what 100% means. So they're chilling, just existing. But in our little Civic Center here, we are going to want to build some lights, some harmony items. There's going to be some trees. These are real cheap to build too, and real easy happiness. Yeah, but we still want to focus on our food. We're building the janitor because if things degrade, they will collapse. Like if a building degrades to 100%, it will collapse to 0. But these farms, these pastures do not degrade. They do not need janitors, which are great early game items because it's one less thing you got to worry about. Okay, got the janitor station. And I'm going to make sure, auto-employ 1 janitor. That's kind of all you need. Janitors do require resources to fix certain things. When you click on the janitor, it brings up the maintenance overlay. And these yellow squares are jobs for the janitor to go and fix. And sometimes the squares have an icon on it, like a little stone or a little piece of wood. And that means it needs that resource in order to fix it. So your janitors kind of need to be close to the warehouses. Not super close. Just you have to have these resources in stock to maintain your buildings. We'll talk about that later because it doesn't matter early game really. But as you upgrade your infrastructure that require advanced resources down here, and then you have like a constant drain of maintaining those buildings. So you can kind of get yourself into an economic trap by like upgrading stuff and using too many advanced resources to make them happy here, because they really do enjoy like having a fancy shit house. If you upgrade their toilet all the way, they just get much more happy just by using it, but it costs more to maintain. All right, I'm gonna let some more pigs here. All right, 25 pops. Let's talk about this real quick. So your city kind of has a level. We just kind of hit level 2. Which will unlock new buildings and stuff for you, which is the laboratory. The laboratory, as you probably guessed, there's like a research job that unlocks research points that you could unlock more research. That's what this number is, this technology menu. We aren't going to lean too heavily into lots of early game researchers. We will build a little bit, because a little bit can go a long way. And I'll show you. Let's go through this real quick. So here's the research menu. Let's go to the very top. So agriculture, this is where we're going to probably put our first points because we are growing. So it's like, what do we want to put our research points into? It's like, well, what are your pops doing? What would benefit them the most? So I look at the workforce, you can kind of see all the jobs here. And just on our current situation, okay, we have 4 grain farmers and 5 pasture workers. And that's the majority of our workforce is doing that. So if I look at our technology and I wanted to pick something, what would benefit that? Well, in our agriculture, we have these grain farm boosts, and there's more research for the grain farms if you really want to specialize. This is like all farms. Well, not all farms. There's like some other farms over here. These are like all the food farms right here, and then you could specialize into like more into a certain kind of food farm. So focusing your technology is a really good thing. But look at this, 50 research. This is really cheap. You can get some early levels really easy, but if you go down here, it's like 2,000. That'll be a little bit later. So like architecture. This is more fulfillment stuff. That's usually like labor-free, like fancier roads, fancier buildings you could upgrade, some logistics stuff. I'll probably get to that later. Crafting. We aren't going to be doing too much crafting. We are going to be making furniture because you always need to make, everyone needs furniture. But we'll probably put a little bit into ration making later because our pigs are good at ration making. That will be something that we're going to focus into. Refining, we're going to be doing baking for sure. Baking goes with grain. So probably this research with a little bit of this research will probably be our focus points. Empire tech. You can kind of ignore this until you're about 500 population. This is about playing on the world map, which we are not there yet. Animal husbandry. We will probably be putting a little bit of research into the pastures. Just like the grain research, it starts off real cheap. Like the first levels are real cheap, 50 research. It's amazing. Knowledge. This is like upgrading your laboratories to make more knowledge. You'll do this eventually. It's not super early. Infrastructure, this is more of a later game thing. You can, it's like more law, less deflation, opinion. Make your factions on the world map like you more. You'll deal with that later. Military is kind of what you guessed it. It just makes your troops stronger. You can get upgrades for your troops. Let's talk about this though, deterrent. There's something called raids in this game. That's what this button is. Once you are strong enough, or more like once your city is big enough, there's going to be raiders that just want to come and take all your shit. It's kind of like a check on you to see if you're building enough military. Raiders shouldn't be a huge problem, but if they are, that means you're growing too big without protecting yourself. And this little raid deterrent technology can help protect you against raiders. That's this little raid security. It's kind of like a multiplier. Anyways, just wanted to make you aware of that. Mining techs. We are not miners. We're probably not going to use too many of these. But this tech is interesting. See how it says plus clay and plus coal? And then you go down here, it says like plus coal mines, like stone mines. This is actually using it in crafting. So if you have like a crafting station that, like pottery, for example, pottery is kind of like an early game thing. It turns clay into pots. And if you have this technology, you'll actually use less clay, which is pretty cool. You can kind of get an efficiency boost. Because most of the time, your jobs do not get more efficient. They just are faster at it. Like they aren't going to use less grain to make more bread. They're just going to cook more bread and use more grain at the same time. Unless you have this technology, this can give you a boost in your efficiency with baking. So you get this up to level 3, and it's like 30% less grain from more bread. So if you really focus into bread and grain, you can kind of ignore a lot of the other research, at least for crafting and agriculture and refining, and just pick your specialty. And there's also something called unlearning, which is really important to know. If you ever make a mistake, you could unlearn knowledge. When you do, it becomes frozen, but it defrosts after a while. But you could switch gears. Like if you ever regret any of your research, you could just shift right-click it and or shift left-click it, and you'll be out of it, or you'll be undoing it. Okay, let's see if we can go faster here. Build more farms. We're not building any labs yet because we're focusing on not starving. Speaking of not starving, how's our food looking? All right, that's probably time to hunt more animals. Hunt a few more. Hunt a few more. So is our bridge done yet? I think it is done. All right, it is done because that error message is gone. Before it said it couldn't be reached from the throne. So our bridge is built. It looks like we can cross that. Cool. Cool. So we're probably going to eat all these pigs and then go over here and start eating these guys. All right. Queued up the food. They're grabbing some. Great. They're doing the farm stuff. Great. Oh, somebody died. Cold. Uh-oh. All right. Let's build a hearth real quick. Hearth. So, yeah, hearth is probably the first priority Civic you want to build. I should have probably built this a little bit sooner. Death isn't the end, as I said. I'll get more immigrants to replace them. This is our first dead doozy. Where did he die? Where did he die? Died right fucking there. Great. Oh, 2 of them are dead. Awful. I mean, awesome. Awful. All right, so I'm going to try to build this hearth as soon as I can. I'm going to suspend this job. Just build the hearth. Yeah, it's late winter, so it's cold. Yeah, when it's hot, they'll go into the river, and we kind of didn't notice anything bad happen because we're close to the river. They just swim when it's hot, and they cool off. But it's cold now, and we didn't have a hearth, and there's no other way for them to not freeze to death. Yeah, they're really... All right, this is a little bit of a catastrophe, but I'll show you guys how to get through it. Because now we have corpses, and they really don't like corpses. We have to build a grave as soon as we can. First, I'm going to finish this hearth just so nobody else freezes to death. All right. They're all going to use the hearth. Great. No one else die. Now I need to deal with these corpses. Otherwise, they will do me in very quickly. So I'm going to build a mass grave. And I'll talk about the implications of this in a second. I'm just going to place it here. And just so you know, like the outer layer of the mass grave is not a dump site. So if I make it 2 by 2, it's 0 graves. 3 by 3 is 1 grave. So you want to make it a little bit bigger, probably like a perfect square. 8 by 8, sure. 36 graves, sure. It's cheap. I'm putting it far away, not because it really matters. Like, they aren't unhappy to be next to the mass grave. I'm putting it there because it's hard to destroy these once you build them, because they get very unhappy. Yeah, wrongful death. Yeah, they're pretty unhappy. These are wrongful deaths because I could have prevented them. It's just cold exposure. See this unhappy face? Death is among us. So in the religion tab here is a thing called desecration. And if I have corpses in my mass grave and I need to move it and destroy it, they're really unhappy about that. They'll be very unhappy about that. So I'm just putting this off to the side so I can ignore it. And what's important is that you have one. And it costs almost nothing. You just have to build it. And once you have one, your odd jobbers will go and just dump things into, dump the corpses there. And I really got to get these corpses off because, let's see here, where does it say? Environment. Yeah, corpses. They were very unhappy about that. Not to mention the health here. Health is tanked. But health isn't a problem because her pop's really low. Small town does not have disease problems. But yeah, see, auto immigration's already helping me out. I'm already getting some replacement pops. They're already getting over it. Cool, they're already over it. Wrongful deaths. Wonderful. Yeah, go haul those corpses, would you? Okay. Onward to not starving. Let's see here. Activate job. Production is in six days. Let's talk about these numbers real quick. So if you hover over this, that's the base value the first time we're shown, 315. That means if everything was 100%, no bonuses, no malices, that's how much you would get out of this field. Fertility is a multiplier based on where you place it. We have the water. We're on a good map, so it's 99. Work value. Work value is because this wasn't being tended all year around. Because years are 16 days long. Normally, you put 14 days of work, and there's like 2 days of harvest. And we didn't start working the fields the first day after harvest, so it's going to be less than 100, but it will be the following year. Then there's a skill multiplier. They're pigs, so they 40% of a buff. That will stack very well with our technology research, because if we get a couple of points in technology, we get a 40% multiplier on top of that. So the racial bonuses, like the species bonus, is a huge deal when stacking with your research. Yeah, and the inverse is true. If their pigs suck at doing furniture, like 60% slower, which means even if you have research, you get 60% of the research. So it kind of stacks both ways. Species, that is a very important modifier. But yeah, it looks like the estimated harvest, we're going to get about 300 grain in 6 days, which is pretty awesome. That will be enough to do all the other farms that we want. Saving. Yeah, so unfortunately, the last beta update made the save game. It freezes the whole game just for a second sometimes. I'm sure he'll fix that. Definitely a beta, definitely an early access game. All right, so yeah, we got a bunch of people dead in our graveyard. Lovely. All right, hey, we're back up to past our 25 pops, but they're even happier now. Great. Well, I guess they were even more happy because we had more food proportional, but we just got a bunch of people, and now we have no more food again. All right, we really gotta get our food situation fixed. Oh, they didn't pick these up, did they? All right, hunt. Get all those pigs. All right, what's next? What's next here? Man, it really is just trying to not starve. Still trying to not starve. And not freeze to death. Two very important things. But the pigs seem all right. They've gotten over it. They've already gotten over the wrongful deaths. So that's a huge debuff, but they just bounce right back. They're very resilient. Yeah, you really can have like catastrophic losses, but as long as you have food, that's why having rations is really important. 'Cause if you do have it just kills all your workers and you can't even work the fields, you could recover pretty quickly if you have those rations. Because having the rations with low pop means you have a high food day count, which is really attractive, and people will just move into your city because you have food. All right, more pigs. Okay, that farm's done. Cool. I'm gonna queue up another farm, and just gonna check on the fertility. That looks great. Just queuing up farms. All right, I guess we'll. Yeah, let that go. I want to build a warehouse next. I want to build a warehouse probably right here. A nice little oval or rectangle warehouse. I'll plan it out real quick. See, activator. See, plan job. Planning. I'm going to build a warehouse. All right, I'm going to put it probably here. And I'm going to build this in a weird manner, and you'll see why later. I'm kind of planning for the future here. Because you do want to make sure that your stuff is very efficiently placed, if that makes sense. Where you want your storage close to your productivity facilities. So this is going to take in the grain, and then these are going to feed directly into our bakery. So I'm going to open it here, here, and here. Oh, why does this look wrong? Let's see this opening, this opening. Oh yeah, I'll make it a little bit smaller, sure. Our first little grain farm. Warehouse. Cool. And make it round because they're into that. See, I guess I should have this warehouse built before 4 days. Yeah. You know, while this is happening, yeah, let me just queue up the bakery real quick, because I'm getting near the end of this video, because I don't want it to be over 30 minutes. But if I were to complete this build, I'm going to keep planning mode on. I'm going to show you guys how I do this. So a lot of my buildings, I like to make them 5 wide, and I'll show you why. So I'm making these bigger with Q and E. E makes it the biggest. Smaller, bigger, E, E, Q. I like it like this. And the reason why is it's against the wall. That hallway, they share the hallway, and they can work on both sides of the hallway. And I'm doing it where the ovens, which is the workstations, are really close to the crates over here. So literally they will just run back and forth, pick up more grain, and go back to baking bread. For high volume industries, this is super useful. It is super handy to have. Oh man, I'm gonna see if I could build this without really ruining. All right, I guess I'll just do it like this. If this isn't Wonder, I'm gonna have to demolish this in a little bit. But the idea is, this is the input, the workers go here, this is the storage, and the storage is, the items going to teleport there. And they will go back and forth here, and then bread will stack up here. And then I want to put my warehouse, like this warehouse, I have to remove a couple things here. I want the warehouse to be kind of close to that, and then I want the food stall close to that warehouse. So I kind of have the pipeline from the grain fields into storage, into the bakery, into the baked goods storage, and then the food stall would hit that up on the regular. I'm going to click that and do plan. Plan a little bit more. And the reason why I built it like this, so I can build another one right down here. But that's even less necessary immediately. Because I'm probably not even going to employ all of my bakers once I have this 12-man bakery built. I could probably have built this to be 6 people, make it shorter if I wanted to. But this is kind of like a little bit of a min-max thing, I would say, because you really can't get much better than this in terms of like small efficiency size. Building things along the wall is a good idea. Using a shared hallway in the middle is a good idea. It's just the best shape I've been able to figure out. All right. What would be next, theoretically? Yeah, it's literally grow more farms. I'm kind of getting a little bit of enough livestock that maybe I can start making another pasture. I might even build this pasture kind of over here, just so I don't have to chop enough trees. Because really, this first pasture, the objective was to get the livestock making you more livestock and not decaying on the floor. And if I unbuild this and I just click destroy, all these livestock will drop to the ground, or most of them will. So I can kind of like pick it up and move it. It still takes time, obviously, but that will keep my livestock. Because once you have enough livestock, it's just a matter of building more of them. And yeah, it's easy food, easy money too. Okay, I think I'm going to call it here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully the next episode we can really grow our population. I know we lost a bunch of dudes because we froze during the winter. But as you can see, we've already bounced back. You are going to have lots of little oopsie moments where you're just going to have a mass die-off. Like, what's fun is getting a disease and not being ready for it. You'll lose like half your pop, but they come back really quickly, just as you saw. They were pretty unhappy about the wrongful deaths. You can see that back here. They were not liking it, but everything's fine now. They have short-lived memories. So, especially if you have things they like food. All right, thank you. Thanks for watching.